Hello, everyone. This is Bethany Williamson. Welcome to Square Pegs Round World Live. I'm so excited that we will be doing this once a month where you can come and ask questions about essential oils and questions about maybe some things that you're going through and what oils would be good for that. And today we have with us Annie. She has joined us. She's a member of the Square Pegs Round World membership site. Can you say hello, Annie?
Good morning. Yes. Hi.
Well, Annie, I'd like to start off with sharing what is your favorite oil right now to diffuse.
Well, I have to go back to my roots, Bethany, and say, being raised in Southern California in a lemon grove, I have a bias, a known bias for citrus oils, and so I just keep a round of them. I throw them in my water. I diffuse them. I dab them here, dab them there. I polish the furniture, and boy, you can go a long time with just rotating between lemon and lime and wild orange and all the great citrus oils that are available. They're uplifting for me. And again, just the smell of an orange blossom, if you've ever had that wonderful experience yourself, it just is really an uplifter for me because there's such a fresh and I don't know, lively smell, if there's such a term. And I really am fond of the citrus oils.
Yeah, citrus oils are also known for being mood lifters, like you said. So if you're struggling like with depression or feeling down, just smelling citrus oil can help instantly raise your mood or diffuse it to raise the mood in a room.
That's true, and I also will share that I use lemon oil, and I kind of alternate with actually squeezing the juice of a half a lemon. First thing in the morning, I read years ago, and I believe it to be true, that it helps your gallbladder and get your systems going in the morning. I put it in just a little warm water or a glass of warm water, and I put a drop of lemon and a half a squeeze of lemon, as I said, the fruit. And it's a great kind of get your system ready for the day. So that's another great use of lemon.
Well, what's also interesting about lemon that I've just been reading, I don't know about the oil, but the lemon juice, is it also helps with your pH balance in your body.
Yes, I've read that as well.
Yeah, and so when you have a balanced pH level in your body is less prone to inflammation and things like cancer and disease. So that's a great thing to do every morning.
It feels good, and it resonates with my system, and so as I said, I've been enjoying it for decades. I also will throw out lemon is a great. I have a laminate floor in the large room that I have in my house, and when I'm washing the floor, I will throw lemon oil into the water, and that's a wonderful kind of subtle. You worry. You don't have to worry that you're getting too much of a good thing because it's not that overpowering, but it's a wonderful thing to add to both cleaning a wooden or a laminate floor, and also I just will throw it directly onto nice wood things when I'm polishing them. It's just an all-around good thing to have. Lemon, that is.
Yes, it is. It is one of the major oil I use in my house for cleaning. We use it for it's antiseptic and disinfectant, and so it can purify the air if you diffuse it. And we as well use it on our hardwood floors, and I put it in just about everything when I'm cleaning. It's a great oil to have.
I agree.
And it is a really reasonably priced oil. So, I go through a couple bottles a month and I don't feel bad because they're not that expensive.
Yes, that's so true.
Well, the oil that I am really hooked on diffusing right now is a fairly new oil that has come out. It's a limited edition oil, if you've ever heard of such a thing. It is called Aquamarine Frankincense. And this was distilled by Dr. Robert Pappas. He's an essential oil chemist. And he has a company called Essential Oil University. It's online. You can find it. He got hold of some resin, some very unusual frankincense resin about a year ago, and he distilled it in a copper distillery. And what happened was when it came out this beautiful aquamarine color. And I love it. It has almost a citrus smell to it. It smells fresh. It doesn't have the heavy smell that regular frankincense has. And when I got a copy of the GCMS report, I discovered that it is very high in ethers. Now, ethers is a chemical constituent in essential oils. And what ethers do is they are antispasmodic. They balance the ANS, the autonomic nervous system, and the autonomic nervous system is different than the central nervous system in that it's the nerves that go to all your organs. So it helps balance those. It's a digestive aid, and it helps with that fight or flight hormone in your body, the cortisol that your adrenals pump out. So it's great for anxiety and for relaxing. And I have to tell you, I absolutely love it. I'm smelling it and diffusing it all the time.
Well, I'm going to have to add that to my collection. It sounds wonderful.
Yeah, you can't. He sold it for a while, and then he turned it over to a company called Aroma Matrix. And so there might be another place to get it, but the only place I know of is Aroma Matrix. And once it's gone, it's gone.
Wow.
So if you want some, you need to get it, I would think soon to try out. So it's a great oil.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, Annie, today I thought, unless there's a pressing essential oil question you have for me, that we could talk about geranium. And a little known fact about my friend here, Annie, and for all of you guys in the membership group, is that she is a master gardener. So she'd be a great one if you have questions about flowers or plants and how they relate to essential oils. She'd be a great one to go to. So Annie, why don't you tell us about geranium from a plant lady perspective?
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I do love plants. One of my girlfriends called me the green woman, and I laughed about it at first, but then I thought that kind of sums me up. And one of the things I enjoyed when I started learning about essential oils was so many of the plants I knew already, either as a landscape plant or something that was an exotic. It's very fun for me to kind of see the source. And not, most of us are familiar with lavender, and here in the Northwest where Bethany and I live, it grows very, very well. It may not where you are, but you get familiar with the plants around you. And so it's kind of cool to explore some of the ones that are unfamiliar. At least it is cool for me. Geranium was interesting to me because most people know, or a lot of people know, geranium as a summer flower, brightly colored reds and oranges, and they're very pretty, but they will freeze. And so they market it as a summer annual, and we think of geranium as that flower. So it was very interesting when I looked at geranium and looked at the scientific name, which is Pelargonium graveolens. It's actually made from it's a huge group of families, the Pelargonium, a huge group of plants, I should say. And it's actually, geranium essential oil is made from what they call the scented leaf geranium, not the one that we know as the pretty flower. There's a lot of geraniums that are sold because they have a cool scent. When you crush the leaf between your fingers, you get a smell. And it is made from the rose geranium. Again, Pelargonium graveolens. And so that was fun for me to realize. It does have a flower, but it's very small, only about a ½ inch, and you wouldn't plant it in your yard because it had a cool flower, let's put it that way. So it's a great little plant. I have had it in my yard over the years. If you live in a frost-free area, it will overwinter. Otherwise, a great house plant. And it's just wonderful to see all that it does from just, that's, I guess, part of the fun for me is plants that I have known as just a common something in my yard. When you start to see the medicinal background of it or the uses that it has, and even the historical uses. So it's a very interesting plant. And again, if you ever got a hold of one at a nursery, you could rub the leaves of it between your fingers and it would smell sort of rose-like. And that's why, obviously, they call it rose-scented geranium, though it's more commonly known as just geranium oil. Very interesting plant.
It is, and as I studied it a couple of weeks ago, I was not, I shouldn't say surprised, but I was impressed with the variety of uses. Geranium essential oil can be an insecticide. You put the plants, I put some plants on my deck this past summer to keep mosquitoes and bugs away. And it can be anything from an insecticide to antiseptic, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, a diuretic, a tonic, an anticonvulsant, even a decongestant. I just look at the GCMS or the chemical composition of geranium, and it's 70% of it is monoterpene alcohols. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with that, what that means this oil has anti-infectious, antiviral, immune stimulant, tonifying, antiseptic, bacteria killer, energizing, low toxicity, and helps support the liver. And then it also has about 15% of your esters. And your esters are some of my favorite, is probably my favorite chemical constituent, because it's the balancing to your central nervous system, calming, sedative, soothing. It's great for adrenal fatigue and stress relief. So when you look at geranium, and I see the many different uses. I've seen recipes to use for varicose vein. People use it for anxiety. They use it to help regulate their blood sugar. And because it's an anti-inflammatory, it's great for any kind of joint pain, arthritis, muscle pain. It helps reduce that inflammation and swollen glands. It is also known as an anti-tumoral, believe it or not, for like colon cancer. And the emotional side of geranium is it helps promote emotional security, in inner strength, stability and calm. And it's great for hormone balancing for women, who are struggling with PMS or with mood swings, and they just need to have their hormones balanced. Geranium is a great oil for this, and it is known also as a woman's oil. And because it's the oil of love and trust, it helps heal the broken heart, and it helps balance your hormones. And I just love geranium. In fact, it's funny, Annie, as I study the oils, I fall in love with that one.
Yes,
and think, this is my favorite. And then I move to the next one. Oh, this is my favorite.
I've had that same experience, Bethany, and that's part of the thrill and joy of learning about essential oils. Is there's so many to fall in love with.
There is, and as I go through my many different books and learn about them, I'm just always impressed and blown away by what they can do and how you can use them.
Yes, on that note, one of the things I would share with people who are just learning about essential oils, it's very tempting to kind of do the 31 flavor approach in the try a little dab of this, try a little of that. And I know I'm very much like Bethany. Read this. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Oh, I read that. Oh, that'd be perfect for Aunt June. Oh, this is that. And we kind of jump from place to place to place. And pretty soon, not only is your nose confused, but you haven't really, I would call it, bonded with the oil. And so if I could make a recommendation or a suggestion to somebody just learning about essential oils, I would say, take one. Geranium is an awesome one to start with, and just be with it. Read about it, play with it, diffuse it, use it for a while, a day, a week, whatever works for you, but really focus on that oil. And I have found for myself that I have a better knowledge of and feel, I guess better than knowledge, a better feel for how I could incorporate that oil into my life by focusing on one at a time. Hard for me to do since I'm naturally a flip from flower to flower type, but I really can suggest that if you just focus on one oil at a time and try to get it familiar in your repertoire, you don't have to be good on 1,000 oils. You can just see which ones work for you. So I would throw that as a suggestion for someone just beginning.
That's a very good point. I run into people all the time who have boxes of oils, and they've either signed up and get these huge kits, or they just go to the store and buy a bunch because they don't know which ones to use. And so when people come to me and they ask, what essential oils do I start with? The 4 basics that I tell them is lemon, lavender, peppermint, and melaleuca. Those ones are going to do just about everything you need, and get used to those 4 oils. Learn about those 4 oils, investigate them, and then slowly add other oils. You don't have to be in a hurry and have a huge collection of oils, because it can get very overwhelming.
Absolutely true. And that quartet is a great starting place. Easy to wrap around the idea that I can master 4 oils. And then you build confidence in, oh, okay, I begin to see how this one works and how just those four are similar and how they're different. So that's an excellent suggestion. And then again, with time, or if time or interest takes you into more oils, fine. If you never added another oil than those four, you would be a step ahead probably of your neighbor, because they didn't know about those four. So that's a great suggestion on how to get started.
Yes, yes. And also something else I want to talk about is essential oil safety. Now I know that there's this mindset that because essential oils come from nature, or even herbs, I get this from people too when talking about herbs as well. Well, it's from nature, it can't hurt me. And the reality is, just because it's all natural does not mean you don't need to be careful and you don't need to use precautions. And for me, it's a question of respect, respecting that oil, respecting that plant. That plant is a living plant, obviously living, and it has chemical constituents in there that can be used to help heal our bodies, but can also hurt us if we misuse them. And well, here's a couple examples. My neighbor next door, I've worked with her for quite a while with essential oils, and she had bought some oregano. Now, frankly, oregano essential oil, I don't know that the average person needs that, because it is such a potent oil. And it is so high in the chemical constituent phenols that it's a hot oil. And her husband was laying in bed and he wasn't feeling well, and she was in the shower. And so she said to her son, she told me this later, I wasn't thinking straight when I said this, go get that oregano oil and rub it on your dad's feet.
Oh, geez.
And I'm laughing because I'm sure as
where this is going, yes.
You know where this is going. Immediately it started burning his feet. He started screaming.
Yes.
It started burning her little 5-year-old son's hands. So he tried to rub it off on his legs. Tried to rub it off on his face. Her husband screamed, and we all know water and oil don't mix. So he's standing there trying to wash it off, and it doesn't work. If this ever happens to you, if you get an oil on you and it's burning, or you get it in your eye, go get some olive oil or any other carrier oil. But I use olive oil, and I put it on a towel, and I got it in my some oil in my eye once by accident, and just start rubbing your eye. It only takes a couple swipes with that oil, and because oils will combine, it'll get rid of it. So if you have a rash from an oil, immediately start putting a carrier oil to dispel that essential oil. And I also had two friends they bought 2 blends from a company, and they're wonderful, beautiful blends. One is for anti-aging, and it has some beautiful oils like myrrh and frankincense, but those are powerful oils. And it came in a roller bottle, so she did not dilute it, she used it straight. And after about a month, she put it on, and she broke out in a huge rash. And so once you develop a sensitivity to an oil like that, you can never use that oil again. So she, a year later, bought something else, a face serum that had that blend in it, and she didn't know that. She put it on her face, and her face broke out in a rash. So we need to be careful when you're using essential oils. You need to dilute. I tell people all the time, you hear the saying, 1 drop of peppermint oil is equal to like 28 cups of peppermint tea. So would you give your kids, 100 cups of peppermint tea? No, then why would you give them 3 or 4 drops of peppermint oil? So 1 drop is even less than a drop for kids too, is really all you need. And you need it with a carrier oil. And the reason why carrier oils are important, number 1, is because of the stories I just told you, sensitivity. And number 2, because the carrier oil will hold that oil on your skin longer, so more gets into you, and the essential oil won't flash off or evaporate right away. So I put my oils in, I don't know how you do it, Annie, but I put them in roller bottles. I get a 10 ml roller bottle, and I put 15 to 20 drops total of essential oil, and the rest is a carrier oil. And I have a little rack on my desk. I'm looking at it right now, and it has about 10 different roller bottles of oils I use frequently. And so I can just pull it out and use it. I don't have to worry about going and getting a carrier oil. They're good to go. They're right there. And so, especially with our children, and even with us as well, we need to be careful when we're using essential oils and be safe.
You bring up some very good points, Bethany, on just, again, the learning, they're like care and feeding of essential oil protocols. I first addressed that we're wired, if something hurts or it burns or whatever, quick, put it under the faucet. Quick, try to wash it off. So you really, like you do a fire drill, just to practice, if something ever happened, what would I do? That point of just teaching yourself. If you ever happen to get oil someplace and it's burning, believe me, you'll know it. But train yourself that olive oil is a great, great fix for it, and it's almost instantaneous. I share a quick story of my husband really becoming fond of cinnamon oil, and he would put it in a spiced tea, and a 1 drop he would use on occasion and really enjoyed that. Well, cinnamon oil is one of those investment oils. It's not inexpensive. And so one time I was looking at the bottle, standing at the kitchen sink, and I'm taking off the lid for some reason, I forget now, and I'm seeing the kind of glistening evidence that there's oil on the outside of the threads. And I thought, oh, well, that I should use that. I don't want to waste it, you know. So I, without thinking, again, like your neighbor, I swiped I laugh about it now, but it was not funny at the time. So imagine me standing at the kitchen sink, take my little cinnamon bottle, wiping the threads of the bottle stupidly on my wrist. For some reason, I thought, oh, I'll just put on a little cinnamon oil. Instantly, my wrist is on fire. So I haven't learned my lesson yet. So what did I do? Go, oh, I'll just lick it off, quick. So then I got it on the inside of my bottom lip, and I am like going on fire with, and again, tiny amount, as Bethany's saying, a tiny amount that I started with, and I was in just dire straits. And thank heavens, here's my big bottle of olive oil sitting next to the stove, and I'm literally just pouring it on my hand and just smearing it across my face and my lips, going, what an idiot. I mean, I to tell you what I've done. But I share that with you. First of all, that it was almost instantly the fire went away. That's how effective the oil is in negating the sensation from any essential oils. But again, that even though I was far enough into my study of essential oils, I should have known better. You never know. Or like Bethany said, you get a little bit in your eye, it splashes or something. So default yourself, train yourself and your people. If you get to the burn of essential oil, grab the oil, not the water. So
right.
Really important. And the other point I address is you're setting up with the oils already in their diluted oil carrier is such a great practice, especially if you have kids in the house. Because as Bethany said, they are from natural sources, but they are to be appreciated. They are to be acknowledged that they can burn you. And so I love that you have the roller bottles set up. I know you've shared with me how your kiddos are trained of which oils they can use, but especially that all the oils they have access to are in roller bottles. And again, when I first started learning about essential oils, I thought, oh, adding it to a carrier oil is diluting the essential oil and thereby making it less effective. And as Bethany shared, that's totally wrong. Because, I guess she said, the carrier oil helps it be on the skin longer so that it can be actually drawn into the body, and it's more effective that way. And so it's just a great habit to get into right at the start. I think the American way tends to be more is better.
Yes.
So that concept of just 1 drop, if a 1 drop is good, then 2 drops is better, or 10 drops is best of all, is totally not so. So you can kind of help yourself get away from overusing the oils by just setting them up in these little roller bottles. And it's so easy to use that way as well.
Yes, I agree. Well, thank you, Annie. It looks like we're just about out of time for joining me in the talk. And for everyone listening to this, our next live call will be Monday, November 21st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'd love to have you join us. If you can't, but you have some questions or concerns, just email them to me and we can talk about them. And then you can listen to the recording later. Thank you so much. And you also have the Facebook group, that you can go to and ask questions. And I will be there to answer, and others as well, to answer any questions you may have. So thank you so much for joining me, Annie.
My pleasure, and thanks so much for sharing more knowledge. I always learn something from you, Bethany. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. You guys have a great day. Bye.